everyone, and welcome to Jack and Cat Adventures. Today we're going to make a filled wool roll, and it's by King Arthur, and I have not made this. We're going to just do it step by step together today. And so our first step is going to be, in a pan, you're going to add 3 tablespoons of water, which I have here, and you're going to add 3 tablespoons of whole milk. And you're going to add 2 tablespoons of King Arthur unbleached bread flour. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to heat this pan up, and we're going to cook this just until you can see where your spoon cuts into the middle and it kind of just goes back, it doesn't flow back. I'll show you guys when we get to that stage. This is all new to me too. I am not a bread maker. I do make homemade rolls, and homemade like hoskas and stuff. But I was raised on that kind of stuff. I watched my mom do it. I made it with my mom. And, you know, so I know how to do that. I've never done this though, so. Alright, so this is getting really thick. You just want to make sure the flour is cooked for about a minute or 2, because you don't want that floury taste. And I think that's the purpose for heating up the flour in this part of the recipe. Okay, now I just have a glob like that. I hope it's right. I don't know. You're going to put it into a bowl that you are going to knead your dough. So if you're going to knead it by hand, just put it in a regular bowl. If you're going to use your mixer, put it in your mixer bowl. Alright, so now we're going to let that cool. So now we're on to our second step, and that's to make the dough. So you're going to weigh your flour or measure it, spooning it into a cup, and lightly, don't pack it down. For this part, you're going to need a half a cup of whole milk, 1 large egg, 4 tablespoons of unsalted softened butter, 1 teaspoon of instant yeast. Now, instant yeast is fast rising. It's not the Fleshman's yeast that you get for long rise. This is quick rise. A 1/4 cup granulated sugar, a teaspoon of salt, and 2.5 cups of unbleached bread flour, King Arthur. So let's get started. So we're going to use our dough hook, and we are just going to mix all of this stuff together. It's going to take about 8 to 10 minutes. That's why I like to do it in my stand mixer. Once it starts getting mixed in, we'll turn it up to medium. And what you're looking for is the dough to be slightly tacky and stick to the sides of the bowl slightly. That's okay. So we're going to let this knead for 8 to 10 minutes, and then I'll come back and show you what it looks like. So now this has been kneading for 10 minutes. And it looks perfectly done. It is going to be sticky, but it should be smooth and sticky. Let me show you. See how smooth the top is on this? That's what you're looking for. So now what you're going to do is you're going to grab it out of your bowl, and you're going to put it into a greased bowl. See, it just comes out very, very nicely. There's like barely any dough in my bowl, which is that's what we want. It means it's all in the ball. Alright, so now we're going to let this rise between 60 and 90 minutes. Now, like I said, I have not made this bread before, so it says that it doesn't necessarily have to double in size. It just has to be poofy. They don't want it like huge. They want it more airy. So right when it starts to come up, we'll take a look at it. And what you're going to do is you're going to take a towel. I have a linen towel here. I put hot water on it. I wring it out. I put it on top and I let it rise. Now mine is going in an oven because I have a proofer in my oven. But you can just lay this out on a counter in a warm spot. No drafts. And it should be fine. We're going on to our filling for the filled wool roll. Our dough has risen about twice the size, a little less, but it is very soft. So let's get started. You need 4 ounces of softened cream cheese, 2 tablespoons of granulated sugar, the zest of 2 lemons. Make sure you don't get any of the white pith in there, just the yellow. 2 tablespoons of freeze-dried raspberries lightly crushed. Now, I couldn't find the freeze-dried raspberries, so we're using freeze-dried strawberries. We'll see how it is. A pinch of salt, 2 tablespoons of King Arthur unbleached bread flour, and we're ready to start. So now in this bag, I have my freeze-dried strawberries, and I add my 2 tablespoons of flour, and I just crushed them really well together, and that's going to go in after we mix this. This just has to get smooth and creamy. And please don't feel daunted by this. I'm not a bread maker. I really cannot make bread. But this is seeming pretty easy and the dough looks wonderful to work with. So we'll see. But you know, you can always just give it a try, and if it doesn't work, do it again. Practice makes perfect. Alright, so this is getting creamed really well. Just scraping down my bowl. So now my cream cheese is nice and smooth. Getting excited. Now I'm going to add in my strawberries and flour. I just found it easy to crack it, mush it up in this bag. It said to do it in a bowl, but I just thought it'd be easier this way. Okay, so now we're going to finish mixing that in until it's well distributed. This smells amazing. Oh my goodness. It smells so good. Kind of smells like a strawberry cheesecake filling. That's what it smells like to me. I'm just scraping down my bowl because I got a lot of cream cheese and stuff in there to mix together. Alright, that's done. Alright, so here's our dough that has risen. As you can see, it looks beautiful. Now, you're going to flop this out onto a lightly floured bench or wherever you're doing it. Okay, so we're going to flop it out. You can see all of the bubbles that have come into the dough. It's so nice. It feels wonderful. Okay. Now we're just going to cut this into 4 pieces, and we're going to put it back onto a cooking tray with something non-stick like wax paper or whatever, because we're going to let this rise or set. Just set for 10 minutes. That lets the glutens get mixed in and they're not so pulled. When you pull, they don't fly back. So let's do that. We'll just do it with our dough. Okay, so just pick it up, put it right back on the tray. No kneading or anything. And it's not even sticking to my hands at all. Alright, so now we're just going to let this set for 10 minutes. So now I have my filling done, and now we're going to start on to the bread. My bread has rested for 10 minutes. What we need to do is take a piece of bread dough and put it on a floured board. But first, let me backtrack a little bit. Let's go to the pan. This is a 9-inch springform pan, like a cheesecake pan, and I have parchment paper around it and in the bottom, and I sprayed it really good with cooking spray. So now what we need to do is, working with one piece of dough at a time, we need to roll it approximately 6 inches by 12 inches. So let's do that. I'm only going to do this step by step with you guys because I don't know how to do it either, so we're kind of learning together. Alright, so here's our dough, and it feels fabulous, you guys. It really does. Now, if it keeps springing back, which I don't think mine is, if it keeps springing back, it says to let it sit again on your tray to let it rest and start on your number 2 dough ball. This is rolling really, really nice. It has to be 6 by 12. Let's see here, 12. Oh, a little bit off. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. Let me measure it. That's 6. I have to roll a little bit longer. Just a little bit. This dough is working out fabulous. I'm really happy with it. Alright, I think that's good. So let's just make it smooth. Now, our next step is take 2 heaping tablespoons of filling on the top half of the rectangle. So up top here. And you're going to, okay, so now I have it all rolled out. We're going to put 2 tablespoons of filling. Now you want it about a quarter from the top and a quarter from the sides and a quarter from the bottom. Actually, we're going to do it a little less at the bottom because we're going to cut the bottom. So let's spread this out. And it says if your stuff that you're spreading is not warm enough or spreadable enough, we need to put it in the microwave. And I need to put it in the microwave. So now I have it spread out on my dough, the filling. I did have to heat the filling up just a little bit to get it a consistency where I can smooth it. Now, using a knife, we're going to cut anywhere from 1/8 to 1/4 inch strips all the way down the bottom of your dough. And I'm thinking the thinner you do them, the better this will look. Because it looks like a lot of these pieces of dough will make it look really nice. Okay, so there we go. So now we are going to roll this way. Okay, yeah. So we're going to fold to get started on my second one. Same thing, we're going to roll it long. Now this one is really bouncing back. I'm going to try it a little bit longer. If not, I'm going to put it back on the board and let it sit. Yeah, I'm going to let this one sit a little bit more. And I'm going to take this one. Let's see how this one goes. And just make sure you have just enough flour. You don't want to over flour it. Yeah, this one's much, much better. This one's a little bit stickier than the last one, but we'll fix that. Just put a little bit of flour on top. There we go. Okay. That looks pretty good. Let me measure that. perfect. All right, so now we're gonna put another 2 tablespoons full of the mixture inside, a quarter down from the sides and the edge, and 4 to 5 inches from the bottom. I know it sounds confusing. I had to read it a couple times. Just take your time and try. I need a little bit more. Okay. Okay, I think that looks really good. Just get a little bit more here. All right, so then you start rolling it from the top. Oh wait, let me cut the dough. Now remember, do it thin. And you need a very sharp knife to do this because you don't want to be pulling the dough. I'm kind of on an angle, but it works. All right, so now what I'm doing is I'm going to roll it this way, like a jelly roll, tightly. And just make sure that you keep rolling so that the filling isn't coming out of the sides. And then they say to take your pieces and roll them over, but I found that if you just roll it gently over your cut pieces, it comes out just as well. And there we go. So now we're going to put it in our pan, seam side down, and all the way to the outside of the pan. So here's our dough in our bread pan, and as you can see, it has a lot of circles going on it. It's not perfect, don't worry about it. Now what we're going to do next is we're going to stick this in a place where it can rise for 60 to 75 minutes or until puffy. Needs to be covered, so I'm taking my linen towel. I'm going to put hot water on it, wring it out really good, put it over top, and stick it in my oven on the proof. So here's our bread. It just came out of the proofer. It has risen really nice. It looks delicious. So I am going to gently, and I mean gently, just take some milk and brush it on the top of your bread. You don't want to push hard because you don't want that fluffiness to deflate. Just do it gently. And you also need to preheat your oven to 350. And once it's preheated, this is going to go into the oven for 28 to 32 minutes. And we will check it a couple times to make sure that that's the right time. And then once it's done, I will show you the finished product. Alright, so now we're taking this out of the oven. It took 28 minutes. And here is my finished product. And it looks fantastic and it smells even better. Alright, so here's the finished bread. We took it out right when we can handle it. Take it out very gently. It's very delicate, but oh my goodness, this smells so good and it was worth the work. Now we're going to let this cool fully before we taste it, and I will show you the inside once it cools. But let me know if you try this. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, and remember, you do you.